Good morning, Claremont Center for Spiritual Living. How are you this morning? I'm Reverend Tracy Earlywine and delighted to be with you all online as we continue our virtual community. And thank you so much for tuning in, for making this work. For what I know is that in God there is no space, there is no distance, that in consciousness we are still connected. And so I am happy to be speaking with you this morning and welcoming our guest practitioner, Pat Richards, who joins us from the Harmony Center for Spiritual Living in Whittier. She'll be doing our opening prayer and a reading in a few moments. But I also want to remind you that our practitioners are available to you at this time for prayer support. I'm finding that every day is a little bit different as we continue week 6 of our quarantine, and I want to invite you to ask for support, to reach out. Our practitioners are available via our church prayer line. They're also available via email through the center. You can find them on our website, and their phone numbers are also listed. So do reach out and ask for that little extra support. We are all in this together, and it's nice to be reminded of that. At this time, I'd like to welcome Pat to do our opening prayer, and I'm going to invite you to take a moment and go within. If you'll close your eyes and take that deep breath and just listen to the sound of the bowl. And as that chime continues to resonate with every breath, I invite you to go a little bit deeper into that sanctuary of the heart. Finding your way into the part of you that knows only the oneness of you and I and Spirit.
And right here, right now, in this amazing love-filled space, we know that God is. And God is the light of the morning, and God is the amazing poppies that are blooming right now. We are in the middle of a super bloom. How amazing. All those poppies reaching out across the fields, reaching out towards the sun. In the middle of this time, they are alive with energy and love and light. Just as this community is alive with energy, love, and light. That is our truth. That is our truth. Oh my goodness, right here, right now. Breathe into that knowing. And I'm so thankful to be here today. So thankful to be here with this community. So thankful to be here with Reverend Tracy, as I know her message will touch each one of us in the most perfect way. And please join me in saying, and so it is. My reading today is from A Daily Dose of Sanity by Cohen. It's called Raise Your Antenna. Now there's a little caveat in this. It was written in 2010, so please keep that in mind. So, a short time after I bought a new car, I noticed that its radio was picking up just a few stations out of the many in the area. I adjusted some knobs and dials with no improvement. After a while, I gave up and decided I would have to take the car back to the dealership for repair. When I arrived home that evening, I approached my garage and realized that the last time I had pulled into it and out again, I had lowered the car's radio antenna. The bottom of my garage door, when in the open position, hung down several inches below the height of the upraised antenna. To negotiate the space, I had lowered it the length, and the antenna was just down a foot. So the next time I drove the car, I raised the antenna to its full height and instantly picked up a lot of stations. I was amazed by the huge difference in receptivity that 1 foot of height can make. The small but critical difference symbolizes how much more wisdom, life, and love are available to you when you raise your antenna of perception to its full height. You may complain about lack of money, friends, available relationship partners, or jobs, but they're all just out there. You might have to raise your antenna enough to be aware of them. The way to change the world is not by rearranging people and events. True world transformation begins with shifting your perception. If you are seeking answers or inner peace and you cannot find them, you need not scour the earth. That would be like driving your car with a lowered antenna to many different cities in search of radio stations. What you seek is being broadcast right where you stand. Your role is to receive. The good you seek is not many miles away or years away. It may simply be a 12-inch adjustment of your perception. And so it is.
Thank you, Pat. That was perfect. Just a little adjustment in perception is what we're usually looking for. So we're starting a new month today, and it is the month of May, and our theme is expectancy. And I came across that word in the Science of Mind glossary written by Ernest Holmes when he was defining the word joy. He says, joy is the emotion that's generated with the expectation of good. It's gladness and delight. And how wonderful it is that at this time of year, moving from spring into all things growing, like blooming poppies, towards the summer and the harvest, all of this cycle of life that is continuing is a way of looking forward with delight. And I need a reason for delight right now. I like to feel like I have something to look forward to. And the truth is, life is always unfolding. Whatever situation we find ourselves in, we're in the 6th week of a pandemic quarantine. And in this situation, it could feel like it's going to last forever. But the truth is, in nature, in life, it's temporary. And so to look forward with a degree of expectation for good, for things to unfold, for growth to happen, for something wonderful to come out of all of this, is a way to live life now and not feel like we're simply waiting for things to change. Waiting deadens the soul. It makes us feel like we've got nothing going on. There's nothing here. But the truth is, right here, right now, I am alive, and you are too. And in that life, there is great joy. So my title this week is, What's Your Wonderful? What's your wonderful? What is it that makes you say, how wonderful? And how long has it been since you said that? I think we're going through phases in this time of seeming restriction. I think at the beginning, it was really easy to only see what wasn't working, what we had lost, what we didn't have, what we couldn't do. And then we shifted into a place of realizing that we had taken so many wonderful things for granted, and realizing that appreciating those things actually helped us move through this time. And that we could reassess and sort of rearrange our activity into this new form and still find the things that we so appreciate, like the human connection and contact and being out in nature and finding ways to nourish ourselves. And I think now is moving into yet another phase. And in this phase, I ask you a discovery question. What might you still be taking for granted that you haven't paused to appreciate? What is it that's right here in front of us or within us that waits to be discovered? Can we see things with new eyes? Can we see things from a spiritual perspective? I think we can. I think we can expand our view of life even from this place that we are standing in now. So, I don't know about you, but in this process, I still get bored. Kind of look around my house and go, what am I going to do now? I already watched all my bad TV. I don't really want to read that book. I might go find another one. Just same old every day. Bored. Dorothy Parker a humorist, who said this. She said that the cure for boredom is curiosity, and there is no cure for curiosity. And that's good news for us. So I offer you a story, again, out of A Daily Dose of Sanity, called Never the Same Trip. As I stepped from the rental car pavilion into the shuttle bus at the Kauai airport, I realized the distance to the terminal was quite short, and the shuttle went via a circle of only about a half mile. If I'd walked straight across, I probably would have gotten there quicker than on the bus. But I get on the bus, I put my bags on the rack, I take a seat, nodded to the driver, and I joked with him, I bet you get pretty bored making the same short circle trip all day long. And he smiled politely and said, I've never made the same trip twice. Oh? I always meet interesting people on the bus. I like to talk to them, find out where they're from. They always have stories about their vacation. I love this job. Oh, I see. What a huge lesson he taught me. I was stuck in circular thinking. He was glowing with enthusiasm. He took a potentially monotonous job and transformed it into a game that he just kept winning. Boredom is not a condition, it's an attitude. Anything can be boring if you bring a closed mind to it. Anything can be fascinating if you bring an open mind to it. You can make anything out of anything. So why not make it what you want? Today, notice if you feel bored or stuck in a rut or confined to your house. And if so, remember the shuttle driver who found ways to make a circular drive fascinating. The circular movement was on a horizontal dimension only. On a vertical or spiritual level, the driver was soaring. If he can find stimulation and joy in such a simple task, so can you and I. When I seek upliftment, I find it. Ernest Holmes tells us that where the mind goes, energy flows. And we want to energize those things which nourish us. And curiosity is one way to flip that switch. Curiosity takes us beyond the ordinary. It's an attitude. It's a way of looking at the world. It's not what we think. It's not what even is in front of us. It's how we see it. And when we come at life with an idea that there's something more to discover, something more within my own heart to find out, to figure out, to know about myself, or something more to discover out in the world or about the world. How many of you are watching the Discovery Channel these days? Or taking those virtual trips that are on Facebook Live where you can see different parts of the world. We're innate in us is this desire to know more, because that is the nature of life. What we know, we can then live. And life always wants a greater expression of itself, which is what we are. It helps to approach life with a sense of wonder. It allows us to be inspired. It engages us. We come at it with a sense of marvel and awe and delight. I like the fact that the root of the word delight is the same as the root of the word delicious. Who doesn't want life to be delicious? You know? And to wonder is that sense of awe and appreciation and curiosity about what's right here in front of us. It's that wow moment. Something miraculous has happened. You know, the word marvel turns into marvelous. And wonder takes us to wonderful. And awe does not take us to awful. It takes us to totally awesome, dude. Yeah. That's where I want to live. So I invite you to think about what moves you. What moves you into a place of appreciation or beauty or joy? Pierre Teilhard de Chardin says that nature, beauty, and music all seem to be an expectation and acknowledgement of a great presence. This is the energy of all life that we sense when we put ourselves in a place of openness to the beauty, to the wonder, to the music, to the harmony of nature, to those things which touch our heart, to each other. We're inviting ourselves really to see from the vertical, to see in a spiritual way that which is laid out in the world before us. And when we are aware, with a sense of appreciation, we truly begin to see the good in all, or God in everything. It's right there. So in doing this talk, I came up with a list of what my wonderful is. What's my wonderful? And I discovered that there's really two kinds. The first are the things that happen to me when somebody calls me unexpectedly, or I get a gift, or nature provides this beautiful sunrise or sunset. Those are things that happen to me. And I heard a story this week that's a perfect illustration. Harry called me to tell me that he'd gotten up one morning earlier this week and gone out to get the paper, and there on his porch was a basket of flowers, a pot of flowers with a little note. And he kind of looked around like he expected to see who put them there, and he noticed that on his side of the street, 4 or 5 houses had these same pots of flowers on their porches. The next day, he went outside, and across the street, 4 or 5 more houses had these same pots of flowers. And when he looked at the note, he said it was from Armstrong Nurseries down in Fallbrook. And rather than let their fields of flowers go to waste, they were giving them away. How wonderful. How wonderful. So one kind of wonderful is what happens to us, how life shows up for us unexpectedly. The other kind of wonderful is the type that's activated from me or through me. It's what I choose to do. So, for example, when I have a sense of accomplishment, when I have finally taken care of something that I needed to get done, I'm sure you don't have any of those things, but I had a couple. It's that sense of appreciation when I pause and realize that, hey, I'm healthy today, or this meal is lovely, or I have really good friends that I really appreciate. It's how I feel when I wake up in the morning and it's a brand new day. It's that sense of, ooh, wonder what's going to happen today. And that's just it. I can purposefully activate my sense of wonder and curiosity by asking myself a question. I wonder how my good will show up today. I wonder how my abundance is going to make its appearance this week. I wonder how many acts of kindness I will actually see happening today. Because what we look for, we find. And so by activating my own sense of wonder and curiosity, I'm placing myself in an energy of engagement, of interest, of creativity. And wonderful becomes simply the atmosphere that I live in. I can get stuck at being stuck in my house. I can be discouraged by all the things I want to do and can't right now. Or I can raise my antenna. I can move that 12 inches in perspective and suddenly receive all of the good that is always there, simply awaiting my recognition of it. Ernest Holmes tells us in The Science of Mind, he says, life waits upon our discovery of natural laws, our discovery of ourselves, and our discovery of our relationship to the great whole. Life waits upon our discovery. In other words, all of life is already present. But if we only see the ordinary, if we only see the person behind the counter as someone who serves us, we're missing out. We're missing out. If we can discover the depth beneath the surface, if we can get past the same old routine and appreciate the rose that's finally blooming right outside my front door, if I can see beyond the roles that people play or the masks that they're wearing or even my own opinion and discover the heights and the depths of their soul, then I am going to live my life more greatly. I am going to have more tools, more choices, more ideas of what's possible. More ideas of what's possible. So this active seeking and finding that we do all the time by many different names, when we call it curiosity and wonder, we come at things with an open mind and an open heart, then we do have a more expansive expression of life, and we do create a bigger world, not just out there, but in here. Because in the process of asking questions and being curious and being engaged, I learn about myself. I learn about my relationship with spirit. I learn how to better have relationships with others. I learn to be my best self in the world, in my world, and for the world. So I invite you this week to ask yourself, what's my wonderful? What fills me up? What sparks that sense of engagement? What makes me smile? What is right here? Here in the heart, here in the house, here in my small circle of activity. What is right here, just waiting for my discovery? I promise you, if you fill yourself with wonder, your world will expand. Namaste. So please, join me in a moment of prayer. Right here in this moment, I sense and feel and know the presence of life in, through, and as me. This energy of life that is the oneness, the wholeness, the divine wisdom, the peace that comes from a deep joy of life, a nurturing and a nourishing substance of all substances that is me, that is you. And it is from this place of remembering the truth of who I am, this energy of love and joy that is me, that I step out into my world, curious, engaged, sparked, happy to be here. Happy to be on this path we call life, happy to be in my physical world and expanding my spiritual awareness. For this is the truth of life, the richness of life, this expansion, this becoming, this growth. It is good and very good, and I am grateful. Grateful for all the blessings that this change of lifestyle has brought and will bring. Grateful for my expanded awareness of how life works, even here, even now. And so grateful for all of the blessings that I give and receive, for the surprises that happen, for the wondrous parts of my life. How good it is to be alive in this moment, to be aware of spiritual truth in all ways and everywhere. And so with this sense of gratitude, I simply release my word into spiritual law. For I know that as I speak and as I believe, it is already done, simply unfolding in space and time that my experience might reflect this belief. And I believe it is all God, it is all good, and so it is. All right, so let me tell you what's happening at the center. And before I do that, let's do an affirmation, shall we? I might have forgotten that last week, but not this week. So I invite you to repeat after me. Today, I choose to wonder. I choose to marvel. I choose to stand in awe. My life is filled with joy right where I am. And so it is. All right, so let me remind you, there's a lot of things happening online these days. Wednesday night, we have a call-in meditation with our practitioner, Nisa Burrows. The conference call line and password are on the website and in our e-blast, so dial in at 6:15 for a lovely meditation, which leads us up to our Wednesday night gateway service, which is via Zoom. Again, the link will be in your e-blast and also on the website. And it will be a presentation and conversation is the way it's been going. We find that online there's a lot of back and forth and engagement. It's a wonderful way to spend a spiritual evening with friends. So if you haven't tried it yet, give us a call if you need help getting onto Zoom. But I do invite you to take part. It's a wonderful way for us to stay connected. A little more casual approach is Thursday night. We have a happy hour via Zoom. So invite you to come in and connect and have a little conversation. Your choice of beverage, that's optional. But at 7 o'clock on Thursday via Zoom, we do find that a small group of happy people talking to each other, supporting each other, loving each other, just seeing each other's faces has been so restorative. So do join us for that if you're available on Thursday nights at 7. Our Cozy Couch concerts continue to be presented on the weekends. Now, I've been saying 7 p.m. because that's what it says on the flyer, but that is Mountain Time. Jeff has been kind enough to mark it as 6 p.m. That is the correct time for us West Coast folks. And it's a variety of artists all doing a concert from their living room via Facebook Live. So check out the schedule. We have it again in our information, and you can also go to csl.org. That's the home office website, and find the schedule there too. Do pay attention. Watch for more opportunities to participate. The board has been meeting and discussing different ways for us to support our center and to have fun in the process. So watch for a couple of ideas that we're floating. There's a 50-50 raffle / virtual trip to Vegas maybe happening, or perhaps an online bingo game. So keep an eye out for that. And I know that our practitioners are also looking at putting together prayer circles for small group prayer support during the week. So watch for information coming about those two things. And again, I want to thank you for your contributions that keep us doing the work that we do. What we do for you, we do through you. So you can donate on our website, you can mail us a check, you can call the office if you've got questions, and just know that this, as we say every week in service, divine love through me blesses and multiplies. All that I am, all that I give, all that I receive. Our prosperity is what this community is all about, personal and community. So thank you again for continuing to support us. Thank you to those who support us by putting together this presentation. Our folks here at Living Beyond Limits that create the soundstage for us, and Jeff, who puts it all together on our end and adds all the special effects. I have to tell you, if you haven't seen one of our services before, you need to go back and watch the old ones. He's a very clever guy. You'll enjoy it, I promise. All right, so I think that's it for this week. I want you to know that you are loved. I miss you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you either online or down the road in person. Namaste.